It is not necessary to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth in order to reach great heights in life, although, of course, it helps. Nevertheless, many billionaires of our time had very modest financial startings at the beginning of their life. Wealth tends to create more wealth, but a rich background is not the only way to the top. Some of the world's wealthiest people started out dirt poor. Today, we'll tell you about 10 billionaires that grew up very poor. Number 10. J.K. Rowling. She is one of the most successful authors of all time. Her name is literally synonymous with Harry Potter and has $1 billion. It is almost impossible to believe that only 20 years ago, Joanne Rowling was so poor that she and her child relied on government welfare to survive. After getting a meager meal, Joanne would put her child to sleep and work voraciously on her first novel, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Once this book was published, the world loved her work so much that it was developed into a series of blockbuster movies. J.K. Rowling's life turned around for the better, and she is a legitimate billionaire. Number 9. Harold Hamm. Founder and CEO of the oil company Continental Resources, whose fortune is estimated at $10.1 billion, was the youngest child of the family of 13. At the age of 16, he had to work at a gas station to help his family. Despite his poverty, Hamm drew inspiration from his surroundings. One of these sources was a local potter. He had a piece of clay that he crumpled like a child. It was clear that he succeeded because he had a passion, and his art said that we could all succeed if we followed our passion in life, Hamm said in an interview. Number 8. John Paul Dejoria. Founder of an elite company, Patron Spirits Co., and hair care company, Paul Mitchell Systems, turned John Paul Dejoria into a magnate with a fortune of $3.3 billion. In the interview with Forbes in 2011, Dejoria said that he was raised in a foster family and lived a poor area of Echo Park in Los Angeles. I remember one day when I was in high school, my mom came home from work and told me and my brother, "You know, we only have 27 cents left, but we have food in the fridge, we have our little garden, and we are happy. Therefore, we are rich," he said in an interview. Number 7. Alan Jerry. Alan Jerry's fortune is estimated at $1.4 billion. He grew up in Liberty, North Carolina. The whole family lived on the same salary that my father brought. Jerry had to quit school to go to serve in the Marines during World War II. In 1956, he invested $1,500 to establish a cable company in his hometown. Decades later, his business has grown into a large network that operates in 18 states. He sold the company to Time Warner in 1996 for $2.7 billion. He then founded a venture capital fund, Granite Associates. Number 6. Sheldon Adelson. CEO of the largest casino in America, in Las Vegas, Sands, Sheldon Adelson was born into a family of Jewish immigrants that grew up in a tough area of Boston. He lived in a one-room apartment with his parents and 3 brothers and sisters. My parents were poor. When they died in 1985, they had no more than $100 in their bank account. This is their whole life. They gave everything to their children, said Adelson in an interview. He donated $50 million to Jewish schools in Las Vegas and Boston, another $50 million to the World Holocaust Memorial Center. Number 5. Kenneth Langone. Billionaire founder of Home Depot, investor Kenneth Langone, also started from the bottom. In one of the interviews, Langone said that in childhood he was fascinated by life, but not because of material values. His mother worked in the cafeteria, but she loved him immensely, which then helped the boy overcome his failures and succeed. Now his fortune is estimated at $3 billion. "I worked like hell to be part of the 1%, Langone said. Number 4. Larry Ellison. Founder of Oracle and former CEO Larry Ellison was born in New York, but grew up in a low middle-class community in the south of Chicago. I will never complain again that I lived in a bad neighborhood when I moved from the Lower East Side of Manhattan to the South Side of Chicago, Allison said in an interview. Ellison was raised by an aunt and uncle who were once successful in real estate, but lost everything during the Depression. Although he started from the bottom, now Ellison's fortune is estimated at $61.8 billion, and the market value of Oracle, $183 billion. Number 3. Ralph Lauren. Brand name Ralph Lauren is one of the most recognizable brands, but there was a time when the famous fashion designer could not afford to buy clothes. According to Forbes, the brand's market value is estimated at $8 billion and Lauren's fortune is at $5.9 billion. Lauren graduated high school in the Bronx, New York, but later dropped out of college to join the Army. It was while working as a clerk at Brooks Brothers that Lauren questioned whether men were ready for wider and brighter designs and ties. The year he decided to make his dream a reality, 1967, Lauren sold $500,000 worth of ties. He started Polo the next year. Known for its polo shirts and high-end ties, the Ralph Lauren fashion brand is easily recognizable. But did you know that there was a time when the iconic fashion designer couldn't even afford clothes? As a kid, I was always into clothes, but I didn't have the money to buy them, Lauren told fellow billionaire Oprah Winfrey in a 2002 interview. When I'd get my brother's hand-me-downs, there was an energy in me that made me say, I want to get my own things to make my own statement. Somewhere along the line, that energy, coupled with my exposure through movies to a world I hadn't known, turned into something. That something is now a fashion brand with a market value of nearly $8 billion, according to Forbes. As for Lauren, he's worth a cool $5.9 billion and is considered one of the richest fashion icons. Number 2. Howard Schultz. Chief Executive Officer, Starbucks, Howard Schultz, made the company what it is today. 23 has thousands of stores in 73 countries and a market value of about $85 billion. His fortune is estimated at $2.9 billion, but Howard was not born in wealth. Schultz said that as a child, he was ashamed to be a poor child who lived in a government-funded housing. His father broke down because of a series of unsuccessful jobs that did not give either money or respect. Schultz ended up winning a football scholarship to the University of Northern Michigan and went on to work for Xerox after graduation. Shortly after, he took over a coffee shop called Starbucks, which at the time had only 60 shops. Schultz became the company's CEO in 1987 and grew the coffee chain to more than 16,000 outlets worldwide. Number 1. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's condition assessed by Forbes is $3.1 billion, but Oprah was born in a poor family in Mississippi and grew up without a father. In an interview, Winfrey told me that there was no running water and electricity in the house. Winfrey studied well at school, participated in beauty contests, then worked at a radio station and entered the world of media. She worked for a local talk show in Baltimore and then appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, which appeared on television in 1986. Almost everyone in the world has heard of Oprah, the talk show queen. With a current net worth of $2.9 billion, Oprah lives a luxurious life. Her beginning was nowhere near her current life. When she was a child, her family was so poor that Oprah actually had to wear potato sacks as clothes. Despite her unfortunate beginning, Oprah followed her dream of being a talk show host. She became a news reporter in Tennessee. After that, she started her own talk show and struck gold. Syndication companies began to pay her millions of dollars. She expanded her enterprise to include holdings and investments in media firms and eventually built a billion-dollar portfolio. Of all the billionaires who made it from abject poverty, Oprah is one of the most striking figures. Do let us know in the comments which one of them inspires you the most. Please subscribe to The Luxury World. Thanks for watching.